Fighting with the swords, gone. Playing with the brain, on. Let's play Giraffe Chess Hattrick League Season 3.
International Giraffe Chess Federation presents Hattrick League Season 3 between 10 Proddatur teams. Hello everyone, welcome to India's new 68 squared Giraffe Chess Academy Proddatur, and welcome to the live telecast of no draws, no resigns, only win or lose in just 70 moves Giraffe Chess Hattrick League 2024 Season 3. Let us watch Hattrick League 36th match between Spartans versus Tigers team. Each team consists of 3 players. Whoever team all-outs opponent all 3 players is the match winners. Let us see the toss at the center of the court.
What's your call? Head is the call from Proddatur Spartans. It is this. Heads. Toss won by the Proddatur Spartans. So what you will select, white side or black side? Proddatur Spartans, they won the toss and opted to play first game on white side.
And in toss, Proddatur Spartans team, they won the toss and opted to play on white side. And here is the both teams lineup. For Proddatur Spartans team, Tejas is the opener and Nawaz is the second player, and Jaswant comes to play as third player. And for Proddatur Tigers team, Sai Akhil Tej is the opener and Abhinay is the second player, and Gautam Ishwar comes to play as third player. Now, let us watch first game of the match between Proddatur Spartans team opening player Tejas versus Proddatur Tigers team opening player Sai Akhil Tej. Let us see among these 2 players who will win this game and who will do hat-trick and who will be the hat-trick hero of today's great match. Let us move on to the court. One-time hat-trick hero, young scholar awardee, Proddatur Spartans team opening player Tejas is ready to play on right side. Let us see on other hand of the court. Young scholar awardee, Proddatur Tigers team opening player Sai Akhil Tej is ready to play on black side.
Now we can see both players are ready to start game 1 of the match. Black side player Sai Akhil Tej is ready to hit the clock. Yes, he hit the clock. Game 1 started.
Pawn to h3, pawn to d6, pawn to e3, pawn to h6, pawn to d4, knight to f6, pawn to e4, pawn to e6, pawn to e5, pawn capture pawn at e5, pawn to h4, pawn capture pawn at d4, pawn to g4, knight capture pawn at g4, bishop to h3, pawn to f5, pawn to f3, giraffe to f6, pawn capture knight at g4, pawn capture pawn at g4, bishop to g2, bishop to b4 and check to white king, pawn to c3, pawn capture pawn at c3, giraffe capture pawn at c3, giraffe to c5, pawn to a3, Bishop capture giraffe at c3. Knight capture bishop at c3. Giraffe to f4 and check to white king. Bishop capture giraffe at f4. Rook to f8. Bishop to c1. Giraffe to c6. Knight to e4. Pawn to e5. Giraffe to d3. Giraffe capture giraffe at d3. Knight to c5. Giraffe capture bishop at g2. Queen to c2. Pawn to c6. Rook to h2. Bishop to f5. Queen capture giraffe at g2. Knight to a6. Knight capture pawn at b7. Queen to c7. Knight to d6. Queen capture knight at d6. Queen to e2. Bishop to d3. Queen to e3. Knight to c5. Pawn to b4. Knight to b3. Rook to b1. Knight captured bishop at c1. Rook captured knight at c1. Pawn to e4. rook to g2, rook to f1 and check to white king, king to d2, bishop to b5, king to c3, queen to d3 and check to white king, queen capture queen at d3, bishop capture queen at d3, rook capture rook at f1, king to e7, king to d4, king to d6, knight to e0, bishop capture rook at f1, knight to d2, bishop capture rook at g2, knight capture pawn to e4 and check to black king, king to e6, knight to c5 and check to black king, king to f5, knight to e6 and check to black king, king to f3, king to e5, king to e2, king to
Now
d6,
we can see Sai
king to
Kiltej is just
e1,
one step away to win by crowning. Yes, he
knight to
moved his
f8,
king to
king to
e0
e0,
and won the game
crowning
by
win.
crowning. What a superb crowning win to Sai Kiltej. Tejesh out. Proddatur Spartans team opening player Tejesh out. Sai Kiltej with this win he won the first game and still need two more wins to do hat-trick and become hat-trick hero of today's great match. Let us watch second game of the match between Proddatur Spartans team second player Nawaz versus Proddatur Tigers team opening player Sai Kiltej. Let us see among these two players who will win this game and who will do hat-trick and who will be the hat-trick hero of today's great match. Among these two players, Sai Kiltej already won the first game and now playing for winning second game. Let us watch what will happen. Let us move on to the court. 10 times hat-trick hero, best scholar awardee, Proddatur Spartans team second player Nawaz is ready to play on black side. Let us see on other side of the court. Young scholar awardee, Proddatur Tigers team opening player Sai Kiltej is ready to play on white side. Now we can see both players are ready to start game 2 of the match. Black side player Nawaz is ready to hit the clock. Yes, he hit the clock. Game 2 started.
giraffe to d3, pawn to e5, pawn to e3, pawn to d5, giraffe to g4, knight to f6, giraffe to c3, knight capture giraffe at g4, queen to f3, queen to d7, pawn to b3, pawn to d4, bishop to a3, giraffe to d6, pawn to h3, knight to f6, pawn to g4, pawn capture giraffe at c3, pawn capture pawn at c3, queen to d8, bishop to c4, giraffe to e6, queen to e2, giraffe capture pawn at c3, bishop capture bishop at f8, rook capture bishop at f8, knight capture giraffe at c3, pawn to a6, knight to f3, giraffe capture knight at f3, queen capture giraffe at f3, pawn to c6, rook to d1, queen to a5, king to e0, queen capture knight at c3, bishop to f1, bishop to e6, queen to e2, knight to d7, bishop to g2, rook to d8, queen to d2, queen captured queen at d2, rook captured queen at d2, king to e7, rook to d1, bishop to d5, bishop captured bishop at d5, pawn captured bishop at d5, king to e1, knight to e4, rook capture pawn at d5, knight to c3, rook capture knight at d7 and check to black king, rook capture rook at d7, rook captured rook at d7 and check to black king, king capture rook at d7, king to d2, knight to d5, king to d3, king to d6, king to c4, rook to c8 and check to white king, king to d3, king to c5, king to e4, rook to e8, king to f5, king to b4, king to e4, king to c3, king capture knight at d5, king to d2, king to d6, king to d1.
Now we can see Nawaz
King to
is
d7.
just one step away to win by crowning. Yes, he
King to
moved his
d0,
king to
crowning.
d0 and won the game by crowning. What a superb crowning win to Nawaz. Sai Akil Tej out. Proddatur Tigers team opening player Sai Akil Tej out. He lost great hat-trick chance. But Nawaz got a hat-trick chance by this win. With this win, Nawaz, he won the first game and still need two more wins to do hat-trick and become hat-trick hero of today's great match. Now, let us watch third game of the match between Proddatur Spartans team second player Nawaz versus Proddatur Tigers team second player Abhinay. Let us see among these two players who will win this game and who will do hat-trick and who will be the hat-trick hero of today's great match. Among these two players, Nawaz already won the first game and now playing for winning second game. Let us see what will happen. Let us move on to the court. 10 times hat-trick hero, best scholar awardee, Proddatur Spartans team second player Nawaz is ready to play on white side. Let us see on other side of the court. Best scholar awardee, Proddatur Tigers team second player Abhinay is ready to play on black side. Now we can see both players are ready to start game 3 of the match. Black side player Abhinay is ready to hit the clock. Yes, he hit the clock. Game 3 started.
Pawn to d4, pawn to e6, pawn to c4, pawn to f6, pawn to e4, pawn to e5, pawn to d5, pawn to c6, knight to f3, pawn capture pawn at d5, pawn capture pawn at d5, knight to e7, knight to c3, pawn to f5, knight capture pawn at e5, pawn capture pawn at e4, queen to b3, pawn to b6, knight to c4, pawn to b6, knight to e3, bishop to b7, knight capture pawn at e4, bishop capture pawn at d5, knight capture bishop at d5, knight capture knight at d5, queen capture knight at d5, queen to e7, bishop to e2, queen to e5, bishop to b5 on check to black king, knight to c6, bishop capture knight to c6 and check to black king, giraffe capture bishop at c6, Queen capture giraffe at c6 and check to black king. King to e7. Queen capture rook at a8. Giraffe to f6. Castling at king side. Pawn to d5. Queen to b7 and check to black king. Giraffe to c7. Bishop to g5 and check to black king. King to d7. Queen to d9 and check to black king. King to e6. Giraffe to b3 and check to black king. King to f5. Queen to d7 and check to black king. King to g6. Queen to e6 and check to by black king. Giraffe to f6. Queen capture queen at e5. Pawn to h6. Bishop capture giraffe at f6. Giraffe capture bishop at h6. Queen to e8 and check to black king. King to g7. Knight to d6. Bishop capture knight at d6. Queen to d7 and check to black king. King to g8. Queen capture bishop at d6. King to g7. Rook to e1. Rook to f8. Queen to g3 and check to black king. King to F7.
Now Nawaz immediately
Giraffe to
jumped
C6
Giraffe
and
to
check to black
C6
king,
and
and
set
it's a
check to
checkmate.
black king. It is not only check, it is a checkmate win to Nawaz. What a superb checkmate win to Nawaz. Abhinay out. Proddatur Tigers team lost the second player. And with this win, Nawaz, he won continuously 2 games and still need one more win to do hat-trick and become hat-trick hero of today's great match.
Now, let us watch fourth game of the match between Proddatur Spartans team second player Nawaz versus Proddatur Tigers team last player Gautam Ishwar. Let us see who will win this game. If Nawaz wins this game, it will be hat-trick to the Nawaz and he will be the hat-trick hero of today's great match. If Gautam Ishwar wins this game, match will be tied with 2-all games and go for fifth game for result. Let us move on to the court. 10 times hat-trick hero, best scholar awardee, Proddatur Spartans team second player Nawaz is ready to play on black side. Let us see on other side of the court. One-time hat-trick hero, best scholar awardee, Proddatur Tigers team last player Gautam Ishwar is ready to play on white side.
Now we can see both players are ready to start. Game 4 of the match. Black side player Nawaz is ready to hit the clock. Yes, he hit the clock. Game 4 started.
Pawn to E3. Pawn to D5. Pawn to D3. Pawn to C5. Knight to D2. Knight to C6. Pawn to C3. Pawn to E5. Knight to B3. Knight to F6. Pawn to D4. Pawn capture pawn at D4. Pawn capture pawn at D4. Pawn to E4. Pawn to F3. Pawn capture pawn at F3. Pawn capture pawn at F3. Bishop to E7. Giraffe to D3. Bishop to F5. Giraffe capture knight at C6. Giraffe capture giraffe at C6. Giraffe to E3. Queen to D7. Giraffe capture knight at F6. Giraffe capture giraffe at F6. Knight to D2. King to E9. Pawn to F4. Rook to E8. pawn to h4, rook to c8, rook to h2, giraffe to c5, pawn
Now-
capture giraffe at c5.
Nawaz immediately
Bishop
captured
captured
pawn
pawn to
at
h4
h3
and
and set
white
check to
king
white
and
king.
it's a
It
checkmate.
is not only check, it is a checkmate win to Nawaz. What a superb checkmate win to Nawaz. Gautam Ishwar out. Proddatur Tigers team last player Gautam Ishwar out. With this out, Proddatur Tigers team all out and lost the match. Whereas Nawaz, with this game, he won continuously 3 games and did hat-trick and became hat-trick hero of today's great match. And this is his 11th hat-trick in hat-trick league. Congratulations, 11 times hat-trick hero Nawaz.
Hello everyone, welcome to Giraffe Chess Hattrick League 2024 Season 3. Just now we witnessed match number 13 of Hattrick League between Proddatur Spartans versus Proddatur Tigers. Match is just now successfully completed. In that, once again, Nawaz, 6 times a hat-trick hero, one more hat-trick he did today. I congratulate Nawaz for hat-trick today. Now, it is International Giraffe Chess Federation giving away 500 rupees cash prize for the hat-trick heroes. Congratulations. Now, let us have a small interview. You out opposite all 3 players one by one and you became a hat-trick hero today. In game 1, you out Akhil Tej, crowning by 39 moves, isn't it? In that, what is the best move?
ఇన్ 13th అఖిల్ తేజ్ తన ఒక పవర్ నా పవర్ చంపడం కోసం 2 పవర్లు ఇచ్చారు అందువలన అతను గేమ్ పోయింది.
Very good. Even I too observed that is the biggest mistake of today. Now in game 2, Nawaz again he out opponent team player Abhinay
Checkmate 35.
by checkmate 35 moves. So what is the best move in that?
ఎయిత్ మూవ్ హీ లాస్ట్ జిరాఫ్ కి సో ఐ విల్ విన్.
Okay. Now after winning of 2 games consecutively, Nawaz he played the 3rd game with Gautam Ishwar.
Checkmate 18 moves.
Checkmate with lesser moves, just 18 moves now. So how is it possible? What makes you to win?
Gautam Ishwar does not use the powers, he only play with the pawns, so I will attack and win.
Yes, exactly. What we observed today's the hat-trick game, that is the 3rd game, Gautam Ishwar completely used only pawns. Remaining powers he did use. That is the secret of winning the 3rd game by Nawaz. So Nawaz once again he did a hat-trick and became a hat-trick hero. And finally, whom you dedicate today's hat-trick?
Yes.
To the parents. So we feel proud of the parents who are supporting this boy coming and over here and participating and become a hat-trick hero. Congratulations, hat-trick hero Nawaz.
And finally, here is the today's hat-trick hero Nawaz scorecard. In game 1, he outside Akhil Tej by crowning in 39 moves. In game 2, he outs Abhinay by checkmate in 34 moves. And in game 3, he outs Gautam Ishwar by checkmate in just 18 moves. Totally, Nawaz did Hattrick in just 91 moves. Congratulations, Hattrick hero Nawaz. All the best for the next matches. And here is the points table of Giraffe Chess Hattrick League 2024 Season 3. Let us see what are the top 4 teams after finishing off 36 matches. Proddatur Spartans team with 14 points stands on first position. Proddatur Chiruta's team with 12 points stands on second position. Proddatur Jaguars team with 10 points stands on third position. Proddatur Kings team with 8 points stands on fourth position. Each team after playing 9 matches, final points are calculated for top 4 positions. Top 4 teams only qualify for the final playoffs.